Game of the Year 2017, Day 4. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Ben Barris.
What's up?
Mark Augustiniak.
Hey.
Matt Sellner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games, brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. It's Game of the Year. It's our fourth day. It is Thursday. You've been here. Say Thursday?
Yeah.
You've been here for a few days with us. You know the drill by now, but if you don't, we're voting on some video games. We're giving away some awards this here week. The way we do it is we introduce each category, we introduce the nominees of said categories, and then we have a conversation about which ones we think belong on the list. We narrow it down to 3 finalists, 1 winner, 2 runners-up. Your categories for day 4 are Best Story, Most Surprising, Best Marketing, Favorite Free Cheese Moment, Favorite Industry Moment. We're going to start today with Best Story. Your nominees are Nier Automata, Horizon Zero Dawn, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, Stories Untold, Doki Doki Literature Club, Wolfenstein 2 The New Colossus, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, Uncharted The Lost Legacy, and Everything. Now, Ben.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yep.
We talked about best in-game moment, favorite in-game moment on Tuesday. And
Yeah, I was here. I led that conversation.
Yes.
I played all the games on the list.
we went way spoiler heavy.
did.
Which, as a reminder to the listener, we will go way spoiler heavy. So as we go into best story, if there's something you've not played this year, especially something on that list that you do not want to hear spoilers about, I would say turn this episode off. Or if you have the luxury of leaving the room, you might want to leave the room. But Ben, before you do take off, where do you land on best story? Just throw it out there, that way listeners know where you stand out of these games that you have played. How do you feel?
I'm going to look at the list real quick again. So we're going... Wait, did you already ran through the list?
Yeah.
So the ones that I've played out of this list are Stories Untold and Doki Doki. And as much as I love the story in Stories Untold, I'm going to have to go with Doki Doki.
Yeah, Doki is a stronger candidate.
Yeah.
All right.
I actually agree.
Yeah. All right. Does that mean we cut stories right off the bat?
I think we can.
All right. Stories Untold is fucking dope. I mean,
It is.
the way they tell that story, the way it turns, I think is really, really cool. I think the narrative's really nice, but there's a lot of good stories on this list, so I'm fine cutting that.
And
That's a
episode
short one.
1 played in your expectations too. Like
Yeah.
episode 1, you thought it was gonna go one way, and then you start playing the other ones. Like, oh, this is different.
Yeah.
In a good way, but yeah.
Short
Cool.
but sweet.
We'll get into some other deeper ones, but as Ben gets undone here, I'm going to jump into one that Ben won't care about. Everything, I think we can cut from the list.
So we can cut everything?
Yeah, we can cut everything.
We're
Cut
done.
it all off.
Guys.
I can cut everything. I think everything's got a really, really great story, but I think it's only impactful like for you and yourself. I think it's cool. I think the way they do it's really cool, but
Yeah.
it's not anything that needs to be. Yeah. So I'm fine cutting that.
Okay.
Matt.
I'll be looking at the list.
Yeah.
'Cause I figured you guys aren't going to put...
I mean, it's just the
spoilers on
games.
Yeah,
You
no,
can look
no,
at the
I'll
list.
look
Yeah.
at the list.
Matt, how about Uncharted?
I really like this Uncharted.
Best story?
No, on this list, it goes up against a lot, and you see a lot of the tropes that you've seen in past Uncharted games, and coming fresh off of 4 just from last year, I don't know. I was never quite in the I played it, but I was never just ready to hop into Uncharted again when I was playing it. That story does do some cool things though with Chloe. It explores her backstory. It does I do like the moment in that game when Nadine realizes that you're utilizing Sam. And Nadine's like, what the fuck? I hate that guy.
Yeah.
And then Sam's like, what's she doing here? And then they're kind of squabbling back and forth. I will say the best part of that story, though, is the fact that it's shorter than the other Uncharted games.
Yeah.
Because you don't, I don't know, there's just Uncharted moments.
Games, yeah, they always take that, where you're like, all right, this is the natural conclusion. Okay, right, yep, there it is.
Yeah.
Now we're in here for another 5 hours.
The fact that it was shorter And then, oh my god, what happened there? Siri, all this week, Siri's been.
You need to recalibrate your Hey Siri
yeah,
function.
probably. This says something about CNN on there.
I don't know what the hell I heard there.
Anyway, yeah, just that game being shorter is a good thing, I think. I think playing as Chloe is refreshing in a way. Then there's a nice homage to Uncharted 2. There's a nice set piece at the very end where there's a train.
Oh, that's cool.
A train sequence.
Yeah.
They do some neat things, but like stacking up against some of this other stuff I'm looking at in this list, I think it's forgettable against these other ones that are on here.
Gone.
Zelda.
Yeah.
I think that's the next one to go.
Story is right in the trailer. Nothing surprising.
I didn't even experience really the story, and I beat that game.
Hey, they failed 100 years ago. The end.
Yeah, I mean it's
That's not what that game does well.
That was part of my argument. Like some things kind of got sacrificed, and I feel like that one took a big hit. Even though they try to, they have a good cast of characters, but it left nothing to imagination of exploring what that was all about.
yeah.
It's just that's what, like, for as good as that game is, that's just not what it does.
I like the story. I don't think it's the best story in 2017.
No.
I also think we can cut Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus.
That had great potential until the end. That end kind of happens.
Even the end, like you kill the lady, and then it's that.
They Halo 2'd us.
Honestly, the end didn't ruin it for me. Don't spoil Halo 2 for me.
Oh my God.
I haven't played it yet. I know, but I haven't played it yet. I'm like, and I'm in the middle of playing them.
Breaking Benjamin was.
Yeah.
No,
The Mass Effect 2'd us.
I know. No, you already spoiled Halo 2 for me. You told me there's more than one Halo.
Sorry.
I think with Wolfenstein 2, the big thing for me is like even the beats along the way. It's like that movie is a summer blockbuster movie.
There's a popcorn movie.
There's nothing surprising about it. There's moments where
I just pictured the last part of Freebird happening while he's fighting.
it's. I mean,
That's
like
all I think
you're
of.
not far off. Like they don't literally use Freebird.
No, but I just pictured that in my head when he's just going around, just killing everything.
Yeah,
Really cool.
it I don't know. It's just
It has some really good elements. I really do like the arc of BJ. I kind of wish they maybe would exploit it just a tiny bit more than what they did.
yeah. But I also got like really bored with a lot of the side characters in this. I was like, I just want to move forward.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I actually kind of like the characters in this. And like I like that the super special guy, I forget his name, but like the conspiracy theorist who you get acquire from New York, like, you know, he was crazy and funny, and then he died, and I was like, oh shit.
It was fucked up. I think it was a good story. I think it, it continues from the first one well. I think it leads into what will likely be a great third game. I just think that it was very on the nose. It was like, yep, got it. Okay, got it. Got it. Like, I wasn't hating it. It was just like a fucking Independence Day where you're like, yeah, it's a fun ride.
But there are some incredible moments. One we talked about extensively the other day. The other one we really didn't even touch on, but when you're in Venus and you're with Hitler in that room,
that's fucking great.
That's a great rendition of Hitler.
Yep, just old, dying, pissing in a bucket,
missing the bucket.
Wow.
And then throwing up blood. And then just kind of laying down next to all that.
In his own filth next to it. And just, he doesn't die. He's just like old and just like, I'm sick and disgusting and I'm just going to lay.
He lives on Venus.
Yeah.
Because Nazi technology.
Yeah. But yeah, that whole Venus sequence is fucking cool.
The acting and BJ being undercover is so
very good. His interaction with, what's her face? With Anya, like his... that it hits a lot of good character elements. I just think that ultimately, like, that game, I think it drops off.
That ending, it was fine with it. It's just that I think
There's
that
no,
prevented it.
After credits thing or whatever.
There is, but it doesn't
It's
not the resolution you're looking for.
Yeah, no.
It's just a long game that sets up for a sequel.
Yep. Which is fine. I like that it does that. I kind of do. I kind of like that it left you on a hanger because you're like, cool. I know there's going to be more. I don't know.
Tell me about Hellblade. Because I started it. I didn't get interested. I wasn't interested enough to finish it. That doesn't mean I didn't like it though.
We talked about Hellblade with sound design, right? And how it ties into Senua's mental state. The story in that game takes you through her journey. Basically, it's weird to call him a boyfriend, but a boy that she meets and
A
kind of
significant other.
right. She kind of falls in love with. He gets killed, and this is her trying to. Her whole journey here is trying to carry his head back to, the final resting place, to the place where Vikings go to die or whatever. She wants to find some sort of solace for him, and you kind of later find out along her journey that, people, because of her condition, didn't believe she could be a warrior, especially her dad. You don't really see her dad, just kind of like in flashbacks, like little like voices she hears, like it's her dad telling her whatever. But a lot of the game is like these echoes of people telling her what she is not and could never be, and it's her journey of trying to overcome that. I don't know. I think it's a good story. I think that one, I'd hate to say it might fall off next.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's a really, really powerful story about just, I don't know, like believing in yourself, and like it has a lot of those really, really good themes. I think that the way they tell the story is really, really good too, where you're just kind of, you're not always in control, like you are, but I don't know. They do good stuff with the story in that game. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at some of these other things, and I can see this one falling. So it's good though. Like I would highly recommend Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Like playing through that, experiencing that.
I feel like it does a good representation of character.
Yeah,
but
I like that the world they build too is so like well realized and fucking beautiful.
But like the story,
it's,
the story itself, it's like it's one thing to like understand a character. But the story itself, you already know what you're doing from the get-go. Is there much twist? Is there much, like...
No, I think it's a lot of, like, where the environment, like, plays as an, a mirror to her own emotion. Yeah. Like, there's parts where she's really rocky and you're, like, in a rainy boat. Like, there's, like, some literal things that happen that are kind of interesting.
And does, like, getting to understand her more, does that affect the story in any way? Does that like change the course of things, or does it just change just how you feel at the end of it?
No, I don't know it
because I feel like just not playing it.
Yeah,
I feel like I like just seeing a trailer or just hearing from word of mouth with like saying spoilers. Like I like kind of already know what I'm getting myself into.
Yeah, and I mean, like, even spoilers, like, I don't know that I could necessarily spoil it for you. You know what I mean? Like, there's not, like, a big...
I think the big juicy hook with that game is, like, the sound. Like, wearing a set of headphones and going into that game for the
it's
duration
that and just,
of it.
yeah, and just like
seeing that
and getting lost in the world a bit, because that is a weird, like, gothic Viking...
It's cool.
Yeah.
I like the enemy design. Like, there's a lot of stuff that game does really well. Story is a big part of it. I'm not trying to discount the story. Just... On this one...
I mean, it's a nominee for a reason.
Right.
We're talking about it for a reason.
We're down to 5. We've got Nier, Horizon, Resident Evil 7, Doki Doki, and Hellblade. And I think that of these 5, for me, I think Hellblade drops.
Okay.
Yeah. That's not to say don't go play it. I really, really think you should go play it.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. This is someone who did play for a bit. It just that wasn't a right frame of mind for the game at that moment.
You should go back to it at some point.
I probably will. Now that I can breathe again.
Yeah. So that brings us to Nier, Horizon, Resident Evil 7, and Doki Doki Literature Club.
Let's just talk about these games before we even try to go to the cutting block.
All right.
I want to hear about our Resident Evil 7. As much as we talked about the game this week, we haven't talked much about the story besides the DLC stuff.
So how do you want to do this? Do you want to like lay out plot points when we're doing these? Like,
I just want to I want to like a general. I guess we should do like a general synopsis and then like how like the game tampers those expectations or which way it goes from like the general synopsis and like maybe some key plot points inside of it.
All right. That's yeah.
I mean, like we don't got time to talk in depth 30 minutes at a time about these different games.
No.
He's got to highlight some
and
stuff.
we've also,
we've talked
about these games
with
each
Horizon and Nier. I mean, well, there's some stuff we didn't talk about with Nier, but for like Horizon and stuff like that, like we talked about some of the spoilers already.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to worry about Resident Evil that much. It's like.
Really? I thought that would be.
I mean, no. I mean, I just mean like I don't have as much to say probably about it as probably Nier or something in terms of like content in a story, because like it well, maybe not. We'll see. All right, so it's called Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
Yeah.
And obviously, and then it's Biohazard 7 Resident Evil in Japan, and I love how that. Both versions, that game stays true to that name.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
because now I can, when you think of resident, you think of person, you think of home. It's their residence. It's where they live.
And the first game, the mansion.
Like, right, and there's evil within that, as well as biohazardous things.
This is the Evil Within 3?
Yeah, 7. No.
Yeah.
But like, it's cool that like it's now has more of a literal meaning to it, more than just like a franchise name.
Yeah.
So I love that it works on both accounts. And so the whole thing is about this Baker family. And first vibe you get is like Texas Chainsaw. It's just like a fucked up family. You don't know why you're here. Well, you do know right in the beginning. You're trying to find your wife. She got you believe she got kidnapped for some reason. You get a tape of her saying, "Don't come find me," like cuz it's like, and you're just like, "No, that's stupid. I'm going to come find you."
Right.
And you do find her. You start to get out, but then the rest of the Baker family starts to happen. She also gets like possessed every here and there, kind of like Evil Deadish in a way, where she tries killing you, and then you have to like put her down.
Let's talk about that moment for a second, because I think an awesome thing happens. I'm demonstrating my hand on a wall. I'm missing a crucial part of something that should be between my hand and my elbow.
Right.
Yeah. So when she's like possessed and crazy, you go to block her with, I think she has an axe, and she chops your hand off. And then you kind of just like pass out from that, and you wake up at this table with the Bakers. That's your introduction to them. You look at your hand, and you find out that I think it was Lucas that stitched you back together, because he's like a technical genius. He put your arm back together with staples and stitches, and now you have like this like iWatch that is your HUD, that is your health meter. So those green like pulse lines from all the other games. Right. That's how you tell. So if you're like L1 to block, you can see your wrist.
Okay. And
it'll show you. So I thought it was kind of cool. But yeah, everybody's crazy. They have disgusting food. They live in a disgusting place. Everybody, like, you don't know what's going on. There's an old lady in a wheelchair that's just staring at you. She never talks. That's the one that's humming that Aunt Rhody theme somewhere. So like you're trying to escape at this point. You wanna find your wife Mia. You wanna escape. And of course in doing so, there's puzzle elements and whatever. And anything that like fills a backstory is experienced through these VHS tapes you find. You have to find them. So there's a chance you won't find them all. And you find VCRs at some point, and then you can watch them, and you experience the tape. You play through the tape, and then gives you an understanding of what happens. It can kind of help you with like kind of what to expect in the future, maybe some foreshadowing, maybe whatever. But
this is much like the demo, right? Because the demo features you putting like a VC tape into
so that
VCR.
part you do play.
Okay.
But
like those moments you're talking about is like that demo, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. So yeah, that happens, and you fight each Baker one by one while the daughter Zoe is trying to help you escape.
Okay.
She's the only one that's not really turned, so you don't know like what this is. Is it like some kind of like T virus from before or whatever?
That's what I'm wondering.
No. it is a type of like weird like fungus, that like parasitic like fungus that gets in you due to this girl's like psychic ability.
Okay, didn't expect. I figured it'd be like a dirty ass hoarder family that just
No, yeah. So
And fungus grew from all the mold.
right, and
but
then
like as you like
which
traverse,
that shit's fucking cool.
because like as you traverse throughout like the house and like the greenhouse and like the underground stuff and the backwoods, like there's these weird like venom looking like symbiote like creatures that morph.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
So you'll see like this like weird black tar mold stuff everywhere, and they just morph out of that. Like you'll know when it's happening. There's different kinds of them. There's ones that crawl really fast at you, jump out of walls and shit. There's ones that need certain like ammunition to hurt them because they're like invulnerable. But yeah, they stretch. They're almost like regenerators from Resident Evil 4, but no eyes. It's just teeth.
That's kind of fucking cool.
But that's the only thing you're really fighting outside
Yeah.
of like some mutated bugs here and there.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So the Bakers are like the bosses in this.
Yeah.
And it goes through the order. So like you fight Jack first. He's like you do everything to kill him. Like you even have like a chainsaw fight at one point with him. Where he has like this big like double bladed thing, and you just grab his chainsaw and you're just like revving at him. You cut his face in half. Like you cut him straight down the middle. He's like obliterated, and he's still like that shit doesn't matter. Like there's a garage with a car, and you go to like you try to drive and run him over. And that's the cool thing with this story is that like some of your interactions that you do affect the cutscenes. So like you don't have to get in that car in the garage. He might do it instead, or you can get it early enough and get in there before him. But he will get in there with you and try to kill you by running to like a rod or something, but ends up killing him. You think he's dead. So a lot of that's happening. You're starting to understand, okay, this is so weird. This is nothing like I've faced before in any other Resident Evil game. They don't just die when they die.
Right.
They're regenerating. There's something in their cells that got mutated. It's like, okay. So later on, you keep going. So you kill him, and then you go to the mother. She transforms into like something spider-like. So it's like something out of The Thing.
All right.
Like elongated limbs. She crawls around, and you just have to like napalm her to death, basically.
I like this.
I can never play this game.
No.
and like a lot of their backstory too is also explained through other DLC from the banned footage tapes. So like you can play as Zoe trying to escape that house, like getting infected. You know, you can see them beforehand. Now they're like a nice, humble family, and something they find somebody, and then you find this girl named Evelyn. She's just a little girl, black dress, kind of creepy. They just find her outside of the road or something somewhere. They try to like warm her up. They put her in a bedroom, but then it turns out they start slowly turning, getting crazy. They don't know why. It's because of her. She's like some kind of psychic experiment. And also like I guess I kind of skipped the son, Jack. But like his part of the story is that like as much of like hillbillies they are, he's a fucking genius. He handles all the electronics, all the gadgets, all the robotics. He has trophies in his old bedroom of like how he's like a child genius. So like he makes all like the Saw like trap rooms that you have to go through. There's one room that has like a fucking like robotic clown strapped to this chair. And you think he's gonna chase you the whole time, and he doesn't. But that sense of dread and eeriness, it never like it's constant. And he added to that with
You're
all
in
that
VR
shit.
the whole time too. Right?
I'm VR. Like
I know,
that was a
from the
moment
story,
where I could
yeah.
take off the goggles and just like,
Fucking clown now too. Like, come on, man.
yeah, this game is everything.
So
Yeah.
but so we're moving the story along.
yeah, no, but this is building the world. This is good.
So this whole time, Zoe is trying to help you get out, but she also is trying to help you make a cure, like an antidote for this thing, so you can cure Mia. And
I want to pause you right there for 1 second. Do you know it's Zoe from the start, or is that something that's a reveal? Like,
no, you know.
Okay.
You know
all
from
right.
the start.
All right.
Because like she's like, like my dad's a tough one, blah blah blah. Like,
Okay. I didn't know that was like
yeah.
a reveal. Or, okay.
No, it's not a spoiler. So yeah, so you go through the whole thing. You're trying to find an antidote. You get the ingredients for that, and by the time you do finally reach Mia, she sometimes gets captured by one of the bakers. You fight the bakers off, and then that's what progresses this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you finally do meet up with Zoe, and you do meet up with Mia, and Zoe had enough to make 2 syringes worth of the antidote, and Jack, you thought you killed, transforms into this giant. This giant I don't know what to call it. It's just it's like something out of Akira. It's just this giant, just elongated, morphe, big blob, grabs you, throws you into another room that you have to fight, and that, you fight that thing, and you had to use one of the syringes to freeze him. It froze his cells from regenerating, and now you're left with 1 syringe with a cure. You either give it to Zoe, or you have to give it to Mia. And this is where I made a save state to see if there was a difference in endings or whatever. Turns out it doesn't really matter. So I gave it to Mia. Zoe felt betrayed. And we are escaping on this boat. We leave that house. We end up at this big, tanking, rustic ship. And this is where the more psychological stuff kicks in because of this girl, Evelyn. She pretty much throws you into the ship. She breaks the boat, kind of separates you two. You have to play as Mia a little bit, and you have to find Ethan, because that's who you're mainly playing as, is Ethan. He gets captured. He gets suffocated in all this mold and shit, and you have to go find him. So now you're oh my god. So now what do? You're defenseless. You don't have weapons. You don't have all that stuff. You think you're just this helpless girl going around who was possessed or infected or whatever this whole time. You don't really feel that great. Turns out her background is not what you thought either. She used to be some type of special ops soldier with a secret government background, and she was actually one of the first people to try to take care of Evelyn. She was kind of like a mother in a sense to Evelyn. She got really attached to her, and because something happened to her, they had to be separated, she took offense to that, and she pretty much tried to have her own family, hence the Bakers. And so everything that you dealt with, the molding and everything, it's something about Evelyn and her powers and her genetics that can make this mold happen and make those creatures come out. I'm not sure what that whole deal is. There's files about it, but I'm not sure how deep they go with that explanation that you have to find. But that's something new. I'd never really seen anything weird psychic girl stuff in a Resident Evil game, to my knowledge.
Yeah, no.
So you find that backstory. You find out about Mia. You eventually switch back to Ethan. And depending on who you saved, because if you saved Zoe instead with that cure, she gets petrified, and you think she's dead. And she does kind of die. She just crumbles into ashes and whatever, and you still end up playing as Mia anyway. But the difference with that choice there is there's a part where Mia is defending you from Evelyn. She locks herself in a room with her, and she's basically trying to sacrifice herself so you can make it out alive. But if you pick Zoe, Mia dies there. If you picked Mia to begin with, you eventually meet up with her again, and you save her in the end. So now this takes you back to that house a final fight, because you find out that old lady is actually Evelyn.
Makes sense.
This whole time she's been
The one in the
projecting, using a little girl herself as an image.
That's a cool twist.
And everything. She's been the one behind it all, but something about the genetics made her age really fast. She's actually around our age, but because of that stuff, she's this old decrepit lady in the chair. And you have to fight this again, a big transformed thing of that, and it's kind of a lackluster final boss fight, to be honest.
Yeah, but the story piece is cool.
So you get thrown out of the house, and it's daylight at this point. This all happens in one night,
Yeah,
or one day or whatever. So you get thrown out, and there's been umbrella helicopters
swirling by,
watching over, and why aren't they helping? You didn't know what was going on. All of a sudden, this care package falls or whatever, or a gun or whatever, and you realize it's Chris Redfield's gun, and it has special bullets in it that freeze the final boss.
Mm.
So it's just like matter of like aiming and shooting it correctly before you die, and it took me a couple tries to do. But and then Chris Redfield shows up, but he doesn't say he's Chris. He just says I'm Redfield, and he has like he's wearing the umbrella, but it's a new umbrella. It's not red and white; it's blue and white, and there's a weird like DNA strands on it and like a shield.
Weird.
And then like he makes sure you're okay, and then it's like you're on a helicopter. Mia's like in this little like bed resting in a helicopter, and then like credits. I'm like, what? And then after the credits, you don't see anything, but you just hear a cell phone vibrate and go off. I'm like, what does that mean? So for this whole time, that's when Not a Hero is supposed to happen, because now you play as Chris Redfield. And so that whole thing is you going after Jack because he's not dead.
Right. Okay.
I mean, not Jack. Lucas.
Yeah.
So that part is you finishing him off because he killed some of your men. You're going in. You finally fight him, and Lucas apparently was working with somebody about trying to perfect this virus, and he sent the email to someone, and you don't know who, assuming Wesker, for some reason.
Oh yeah.
But they don't tell you.
Ever?
No, it's
Ever?
just
Wesker be
hinted.
dead.
We don't know.
Killed him in 5. Like, we submerged him in lava in 5.
That's just my guess. I don't know what it is exactly, but obviously that part of it leads
Yeah.
to a sequel where I think you could beat Chris
Okay.
in the next game. And the combat was different with him as to playing as Ethan. Like you could still punch people in the face or whatever after like staggering them. It was more Resident Evil 4-ish like controls, but just in the first person view.
So this, barring the DLC, because just the core story on its own, how do you feel about it?
I know it's not like the strongest story. It's cool and it's different. It's original.
Yeah.
And I appreciate Resident Evil for trying to do something.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was
like that.
expecting.
I like the fact that you could play as multiple characters to get multiple perspectives on this. It does definitely add a lot. By the time you find out more about the whole Evelyn thing and Mia being involved with that, you get a weird like psychic dream moment with Jack Baker and Zoe, where Jack's like he looks normal. He's like a humble guy. He's like look, like I never meant to do you any harm. Like I just want you to like to finish this for us. Like just please, like like. You had like a heart-to-heart moment with him. And I was like, this is weird because I was afraid of you like this whole day.
Right.
And now you're like being
Sympathetic.
cool. Yeah. That was interesting. But yeah. So it's like the beginning of a new story arc. I feel like.
All right.
So it's like it can't do too much impact in terms of a story, but that's what like I felt for the longest time until this DLC. I felt like a little like, that's it for the end. But End of Zoe.
Right, that opens up a whole.
Ties that together because because it shows a flashback of you leaving her behind when you gave Mia the cure.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'll come back for you. Like, I'll send help. And then she's like, whatever. Like, I'm meant to belong here, blah, blah, blah. Butt hurt. So that phone vibrating was apparently Ethan calling Chris. And so they were going back or whatever to help everything. But, Joe Baker fucking did everything.
Right.
And then you see Chris at the end of that after him just defeating Lucas. And then, Zoe's cured. Chris hands the phone to Zoe and it's Ethan on the phone. And he's like, told you I'd send help. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, thank you. And it's like, happy ever after.
Everything kind of comes full circle.
Yeah. So, again, it's not the strongest story, but I appreciate
That's a good story. Yeah.
I appreciate its originality. I appreciate the direction they're going in with it.
I think it belongs on the list.
Were you happy with the canon? Like how much?
I like that
like
this
the
all
lack
took
of
place.
it, or yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. The time setting is current.
Yeah.
It took place this year.
No, I was talking about like the like how it ties into the rest of the Resident Evil universe. Were you happy with like the lack of that? Did you think they'd do it enough?
For the longest majority of that game, it didn't feel like Resident Evil just because I wasn't playing like like a STARS agent or like a raccoon suited police department, someone with like a government background who knows how to handle guns.
You weren't playing as a Redfield or a Valentine or
right,
like that.
like Kennedy,
Chris.
whatever. Yeah, so it was interesting to have a more like regular Joe kind of guy just going through this.
I think that lends itself to something. I think that's a cool new life to breathe into that franchise, though.
Yeah, and then, but like it didn't feel like Resident Evil was like the very end.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so like it's a weird blend. It still feels actiony, but you still have that uneasiness the entire time. That sense of dread that like you'll still get scared. You'll still like no matter how many guns you got. It's like it's all about like trying to conserve that ammo.
I think that part's talking to more of the game than the story.
Yeah,
and at that point, I don't want to get us too off track.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Doki Doki?
I mean, we have to, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, but I think Doki Doki is great. I don't know if it ends up on this final list.
The hook of Doki Doki is the
narrative.
It's the expectation, like, of what you set out, of what you think this game is, and then it just turns on its head. I think the story, like, I don't know, the story is I think it's more of a character driven game.
Yeah, I agree. And like, I think if we're talking best story, like if I'm gonna just sit down and read you a plot synopsis, like, the game's good, but like it's more about how you're interacting with it, how you're talking to those characters and living with those characters, less than.
I'd say vice versa.
I just feel like it's like, hi, you join a literature club, you befriend 4 girls, your best friend hangs herself, and then, like, I don't know.
That's not the real story, though. That's just the front.
Yeah,
the real story is Monica.
Right. Monica creates everything.
Her being sentient and aware that she's in a visual novel game that she's not supposed to be in due to the other files you find in that game. She's from another game.
Right.
Where it deals with people with psychic abilities and
can,
like, fuck with stuff. And she like falls in love with you for some reason, but she handles it in a fucked up way. And then she realizes that she handled it in a fucked up way, and like trying to understand what love really is from an AI point of view compared to how we handle and see love. And then she realizes to like let you go is the best way, because she tries to understand like how it is in your reality.
All right, it stays alive.
But the shitty part about all that, though, is that you have to find that.
That's
it's
okay.
Like the hidden files, the crypticness, the translating, you wouldn't know any of that on a surface level. On a surface level, it's exactly what you said.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I don't know if that hinders it or not, because it can get confusing and misleading. People can just take certain parts from it, and it doesn't do a good job of like trying to convey that. You really have to dig for it more than you would for like any other game. Like, you have to go like literally edit, like alter the files. Like,
yeah, I know.
It's a lot of dedication work, but I think it pays off. It adds more depth to her.
All right.
Well, and the rest of them too, because they're pretty good too, I feel like.
How about Nier?
That's you too. I mean, I know that game is deep on a couple levels.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like all the story beats though, and like, is it the best story?
Once it ramps up, it ramps.
Yeah.
But you got that, like the initial arc in the Route A, right? So we like with this game, you have to talk about every route, because that's.
I think also that's the other fucking fantastic part about this game is how it's delivered, where the different endings. I think that lends so much to it, because it sets a certain expectation where some people are going to look at it and go, well, I beat the game, I'm done. What do you mean I have to play it again? And there's that attitude where my attitude was very much, oh, I beat the game. Oh, I get to play it again and see something different. I'm with you. I know. Route B is...
The first half of Route B is
it's tough because you're
not fed enough.
Did this?
You're not fed enough new information.
Now I think also that's an opportunity to play through some side quests, right? So and I think that's something where if you let yourself get lost a little bit in the side quest, ending B or that route at the beginning of it can vary a bit. But with that, you get through B and you find out the turn of everything. And then again, C is a sequel to B, where you're like, whoa.
But the story itself, that's kind of like a human versus AI type thing, right?
Not really. Basically humanity is what remains of humanity is locked away in your
server on the moon.
On the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And you are
an android that is part of Yorha that is on Earth trying to win a war against machines.
Machines have taken over Earth, and you're trying to stop that war to bring humanity back.
And you
to
think
Earth.
aliens are at the helm of the machine invasion.
But that's the best fucking part, because
in Route A, you discover probably like halfway through that route that the aliens are dead and is actually the AIs of Adam and Eve.
Right? So
they're AIs, right? Weird machine AIs.
But and like that's the crazy thing is like we are so far ahead of where we are right now that an alien invasion has already happened, and they're skeletons. They're not even the aliens mean nothing. Like we're fucking gone. I mean, it takes place in the year 11,000, right? So like conceptually, you look at it on like the timeline of people, and like that's so far. Or I guess whatever, it's just not far in the timeline. Who the fuck knows? But yeah, you're trying to wipe out machines on Earth so then humanity can return. You find out aliens have already invaded. You eventually find out that humanity's already gone anyway.
That's the big reveal at the end of Route B. That's as you're playing as 9S, because 9S is a scanner bot. So like he is supposed to be getting information for Yorha.
Yeah.
Because C, then Route C gets into the thing with Route B. But with Route A, you discover that the aliens, are dead, and then it's a fight against Adam and Eve, and plot points happen. There's a weird spot where there's an attack off the shore, like kind of close to the factory, kind of almost. Yeah. There's an explosion that happens that separates 9S and 2B, and that's where like that separation occurs, where Route B gets a little bit different as 9S. So as 2B, you're trying to find 9S.
Mm-hmm. As 9S,
as 9S, you go weird places.
You hack into.
Don't you hack into yourself
your
to
own? Yeah, you have to hack into yourself to wake yourself up,
and then you wake yourself up, but you're captured by Adam and Eve.
Just Adam.
Yeah. In that weird white city.
Yeah, you've seen. Yeah.
So like 2B, she does the whole thing with the factory, which is cool, and does some world building with the machines.
And the cult that's there.
Yeah. It's just really. Oh, the factory happens after the boss battle against Adam.
Yeah.
Because 9S and his route, did you get to the factory yet? The cult with 2B and Pascal?
No, I think I'm about to be there.
Okay. So you get there, you find there's a call, and like they called Pascal to be like a peace treaty between his machines and the cult. However, you get there and they want to sacrifice Pascal, and 2B's like, all right, well, we're gonna fight through this, and so they're under attack with all this cult stuff. 9S wakes up and realizes like, oh, they need help. So he actually, from the main base, the Yorha base, he's actually hacking into machines at the factory level, and you're playing at these like stupid little machines, and there's different mechanics to make you traverse the levels, and you're opening doors for 2B. Because she like at one point she's about to like swing and hit you. 9's like, no, it's me.
Yeah,
I have control. I'm trying to help you. So then you break out the factory. They reunite, but they reunite as Eve is going batshit crazy because Adam is dead, and he's like attacking everything.
Eve is like, he's infected everything with a virus.
Yeah, like the machines start eating people, like because he's the AI overlooking these machines. He's sending all kinds of units, and that ultimately leads to the final boss battle with Eve, where depending on if you're 2B or 9S, it's pretty much the same boss battle, just both ways, just with the combat, hacking ability.
Yeah. Okay.
So then you kill Eve. 9S is like corrupt because he was trying to hack Eve, and Eve kind of like
his final like
firewalled him, kind of like
his final thing before Eve died, he infects 9S.
So 2B kills 9S, and you think, all right, well 9S is dead, and he didn't upload his memories, so like that version of 9S is going to be gone. No more. But then because he hacked into the machines at the factory, he actually relayed some memories.
And you start seeing like all the robots blinking.
Yeah, one at a
nearby.
time, and 2B's like picking up her sword, like, oh Jesus Christ, like, oh God.
But you then
And then
realize
like 9S starts talking, and you realize like his body's not there, but he's in these machines talking. And he's like, actually, my memories were in these machines because of what I did earlier.
right.
I'm still around, and and 2B, I think appears to be happy about that.
Well, and like I think too, like that again, like we talked yesterday. I used the word transcend a lot, or not yesterday, but 2 days ago, for best in-game moment. But I think that game, that's a moment where like it. You
And
think when you think about like death as a human, like there are people who have died in my life that still live on because our memory of them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's the whole. I think that was just a beautiful little message.
The moment to take from that all end scene though is as 2B's killing 9S, she's crying, and that's
Right.
something important to remember when you jump to Route C,
Right.
which is the sequel, weirdly, to the game.
Yeah.
And so it starts up right after the events of Route A, B endings. Yorha's forging a full frontal attack on the machines on Earth. They think they're vulnerable because Adam and Eve are dead. 2B and 9S are a part of that assault. And they land to start fighting. And then I forget what triggers a virus. What triggers that virus? I don't remember what triggers it.
Yeah, I don't either know.
A virus happens, and it somehow spreads to the Yorha units. Besides,
I think it's a lingering effect of Eve.
I think it's explained something like that.
Yeah.
And then everyone except 2B and 9S at the time,
Right.
are affected. So now you're
fighting all of the
Yorha
Yorha
members.
units.
But in a weird thing, because aren't you playing as 9S?
No, I don't remember.
I think you're playing as 9S because
You are.
because it's a weird thing. 9S can't attack the Yorha units because he has a chip that doesn't let him attack other units. However, 2B is attacking these units
Yeah.
completely fine. So he needs to, or was it the other way around? No, he needs to hack himself
Yeah.
to enable him to fight the Yorha things. And then he ends up having to hack 2B because she's like damaged or something like that.
Right. But that's where A2 comes into the picture. Because you kind of wipe everything out, but then like Yorha's done. But then A2,
because you end up, after that little battle on Earth, you end up going back to tell the commander, hey, oh, shit's hit the fan. And then she's like, well, why aren't you getting infected? Then she turns Yorha on you, trying to kill the both of you. And then it turns out they get infected, and then the commanders...
you see the commander's like eyes flip. Like,
Yep.
She's infected. Everyone's infected.
And then
Everything's fucked.
you evacuate just in time as the main base blows up.
Yep.
And you land back on Earth, but there's something happened on the way to Earth, and 9S and A2 get separated. When A2 lands, the virus is starting to affect her now.
2B. You said A2.
Oh, yeah. 2B and 9S get separated on the way back to Earth. 2B starts,
To get infected.
Yeah, but there's something where it wants you to go to a place for a reason. I can't remember why you had to go to that mall area.
You have to run back there for something. I forget what
There's
it is.
something triggering you to run back to the entrance of the mall, and there is where 2B finally is like, she's gonna die, and she begins uploading her memories. But that's when A2 comes along, and
2B
she pretty much 2B is asking A2 to kill
Kill me
her.
before the shit gets fucked up. That's when 9S runs across the bridge, sees A2 stabbing 2B. He now sees A2 as a villain, and as he's trying to run across the bridge to a tower starts emerging from the ground. This big tower. It looks like it's like constructed of the same stuff that Adam was using to construct that weird white city. Like it's just big white pure tower. And then essentially like, I don't want to like belabor a whole like plot for plot, but like you spend Route C bouncing between A2 and 9S.
9S investigates what the hell is this tower. A2 she wants to just kill all the machines, and the first part of that is her literally doing that. And
But she understands that like Yorha's been fucked from the beginning,
Yeah.
which is why she defected from them. She wants to explain it to 9S, but he's not listening to reason from her because whatever.
Because he thinks he killed.
Right.
9S has some really, really cool psychological moments where like he like sees 2B. He has to. There's that moment where like it pops up on the screen. It says you're thinking about how much you want to star 2B, aren't you? And like there's that bit where he hacks into all of the records and he's kind of looking through 2B's memories and he's like, wait, why would these be here? What's the deal? And
meanwhile, while this is going on, the pods between 2B and 9S are communicating because now that pod is following A2 and they're talking about the psychological state of each other. And
they kind of like break.
And
the
9S
fourth
is
wall.
like, 9S, they're saying how 9S is going crazier and crazier. He's not listening to reason anymore.
He slowly loses it and he eventually like falls into a room where he sees nothing but 2Bs and he has to kill all of them because they're attacking him. And he kind of like just falls beside one of them after he kills all of them. And he's like looking at it and has this moment. He's missing his arm, so he takes off an arm of 2B, pops it on him. But that starts a worse infection on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then like it's A2's round is about her killing machines, and then she comes around when she meets Pascal, and we talked about that moment at length,
Right.
and that arc at length a couple days ago.
Eventually, they both meet in the
At the
tower.
9S gains access to the tower with some characters from the first game, Devila
And Popula.
Popula. Yeah, they get some backstory. I think if you play the first game, you get more out of that than what we got out of that. So yeah, they both get into the tower. They both access different parts of it.
Eventually,
It
they
gets
meet in the
weird,
middle.
and then they meet at the top of the tower, essentially. And that's where, they interact. 9S is like, why did you kill her?
A2 tries to explain. He doesn't give a shit.
He's not in a great psychological state, so he's not listening to reason. And then A2 drops the bombshell that 2B is not really 2B. She's a special type of Yorha unit.
Well,
in
and
the E
earlier,
series.
there's a weird side mission.
Yeah,
you
you see,
can
I
do.
didn't do that, and then I went back and
Saw that, yeah.
saw that piece of information, so I got that part a little bit.
There's a
an
side
E
mission you
unit.
do where it's a random thing, and some character talks about a friend that was lost or something like that. At the end, she's like, "Oh, well, that must have been a Type E unit. They're the ones that execute. They kill everything." And it's a subtle thing, and you kind of hear it and you throw it away. You don't think anything of it, and you come to this ending, and it's like, "Oh, that's not 2B. That was 2E."
2E. And 2E, and the reason why those B units are with S units is because they're scanners and they pick up information. And every time that scanner becomes alive again or whatever, they always pick up the information that mankind is actually dead. But once they realize the information for Yorha to stay Yorha, they have the 2B unit or that B unit, who is actually an E unit, kill the scanner unit.
Glory for mankind.
And that now, you kind of cycle back through the game, and that ending, route A or route B, and you're like, oh, well.
Right, everything just flashes for you.
Yep. And then, but the twist is because 9S put himself in, that's where it got weird, and this whole subversion. And I think that's why the commander wanted to kill you back on the base in Route C.
Yeah.
Because he should be dead after he gave her, or she gave 9S. Yeah.
So.
They sound very human.
Yeah, it's a weird, complex, interesting story, for sure.
To backtrack a little bit on Doki, I don't know for a fact that Monica is from another game.
Well,
but
the
you can
the
yeah.
idea.
I was just speculating.
Horizon.
All right. I'm going to be short with this one.
All right.
It starts off as a character story with Aloy, right? Events happen at the beginning of that game where you're an outcast, you're not understanding why. You want to prove yourself to the Nora tribe, which is the tribe that's that you should have been a part of. You go to this thing called a proving, and then it's pretty much a terrorist attack happens there by an outside tribe. After that, you wake up in one of the main Nora buildings where the matriarchs, I think they were called.
That sounds right.
The one for the Nora, or one of them for the Nora, is so you see that door right there? we can't gain entrance from it, and we found you outside of it one day, and that's why you're an outcast.
Yeah, you don't have a mom. This is where you came from.
We didn't. They didn't understand you, so they outcasted you. I tried. She was like, I tried to, say it was just a child, but they were scared, and that's why you were an outcast. And so she makes her a seeker, which is the only type of level like being called a seeker allows you to leave town and explore and do whatever, and you're always given a main objective as a seeker, and that's your permission to leave. This matriarch makes her a seeker, which is a high honor, and that causes controversy in the Nora tribe. And your objective is what's behind that door. Thus, you're thrusted out to the world, and from there, you start going through things. And what I love about this game was it kind of out Mass Effect this year with the politics of the tribes, because there's the main, there's the ones in Meridian, there's the Nora, and there's the Karja, and I don't know, I just really like that little subplot of how the Karja doesn't really like the Nora, so if you're in that area of Nora tribes, everyone looks at you, or they may even attack you. And the fact that you help Meridian, the Karja are a very war heavy thing. The Nora aren't really warriors; they're more peaceful, hunter gatherer people. That's why they're in the cold. That's why they're in the mountain part of the region. Okay. And then the folks I can't remember the Sun tribe. Mm-hmm. They're in the desert in Meridian. They're kind of the halfway point of the map, and they're usually just a peaceful people. They just just want peace in the world. And so do the Nora, but the Karja are the ones that are kind of power hungry. So that kind of plays into it. But then you start exploring, and I forget what ends up leading you to Faro Industries. I don't remember the plot point that connects you to go there. But when you go to Faro Industries, that's when that's what we were talking about, a couple days ago with that in-game moment, the start of the real heavy plot point of what the fuck is this Zero Dawn, and what goes on there. And
just to recap that, Zero Dawn is the idea that this infection inside of all the machines will kill humanity. There's no saving humanity. However, we can build for a better future, so that they built basically an AI version of Mother Nature that will
sub AIs that control different parts of the rebuilding process.
Something will bring back plant life. Something will bring back human. Boom, 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 and it'll all activate because basically they can decrypt a kill code for these machines, but the decryption will take longer than humanity has left. So decryption will happen after humanity's dead. Kill off all these robots, and then start the rebuilding project. The one big piece I think that was really interesting is part of that rebuild project is the Apollo part, where it teaches you about all of the knowledge that man had, including what not to do to repeat these mistakes. However, they didn't get that shit.
Hades starts going corrupt, and
so Project Apollo never came to be. Humanity came back, life came back.
Yeah, and the whole system, because of Hades, which I want to look up the actual Hades, because it was it was designed to enact the controlled extinction if the outcome of Zero Dawn was not favorable for human existence. So it was like a kill button to all right, we're not going to put all our eggs in this basket. Let's retrack and go again. But a signal, an unknown signal, made Hades go nuts, and it essentially started taking over the other ones, including Apollo and all these other ones that were important to get mankind to back to where it was when it died, and did not repeat his mistakes. In an effort to, this is all kind of being fed to Aloy throughout various story events and through holograms and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So. You're never really witnessing any of this. You're just kind of learning about it after the fact. And you're kind of learning why we are, why it is what it is. Gaia, the main AI, ended up self-destructing to prevent Hades from screwing this all up. And she figured, with her self-destructing, if she could get something out to maybe get it pushed going again, that will get this Project Zero Dawn, back on its feet and really get humanity to the way it was.
That's where
she clones Aloy, who is Elizabeth Sobek, the character I was talking about before, the maker of Zero Dawn. she has enough DNA of Elizabeth Sobek to clone Aloy, and Gaia, the AI, put Aloy out inside of that door that day. And Aloy is meant to be this character that is to push humanity forward from its mistakes and to not let that stuff happen.
Right.
And then the whole time you have your main antagonists are called the Eclipse, and they're a radical group inside the Karja. And they're the ones that are trying to feed Hades. They're trying to reactivate Hades and get these powerful machines that are dead. Like the one, like I always talk about that one in the corner. There's just
Right.
big machines draped across these mountains. Those machines are trying to reactivate again to like take over the world or the lands and whatever. Yeah. So as you're finding out this information, you're trying to fight off the Eclipse. Well, eventually they get Hades activated. Mm-hmm. Things start turning to shit. They start really ramping up the types of machines you fight when you encounter them. You end up getting in one of the that's what it is. The Project Zero Dawn is buried underneath the Karja hometown in the Citadel. So you have to go there to get the kill switch for Hades, like the decryption code. So you fight your way through that, you gain that, and then you end up going to the access point to kill Hades.
Big boss fight, you take down a big old metal spider, just like the end of every good Wild Wild West movie. And that's it. Happily ever after. Aloy goes and finds
Hades is dead, and there's another character that's helping you along the way. Silence. He's a person that's interested in the in what happened to the old ones. That's what they call the human race that existed before.
He's like a companion voiceover dude in your head.
You don't know if you can fully trust him because he's got his own self-interest in mind, but he's feeding you enough information to be like, he might be worth keeping around.
He's a good dude.
So yeah, Hades is dead, and everything's good.
Aloy finds Elizabeth Sobek's final resting place, and just kind of goes there, and that it kind of like pans out from that. There you go, happily ever after. Yep. Hades lives inside of like a little it like an artifact and flies through the air, and then finds its way into a little lamp.
Yep, like a lamp artifact. And
you talked about that.
Silence, that companion character, is holding him. And he
says something like,
he wants to interrogate Hades to figure out what was the source of the unknown signal.
Right.
Which you could take that in any kind of different way, but that sets you up for probably a sequel to this amazing game.
It was a good ending.
That's a good story.
And then the end of that story too, like when the Eclipse launched like a full frontal attack on the main Capitol building in Meridian. Right. And that is one hell of a fight. That is a bitch of an end boss fight. There's some truly cool moments that you're not just experiencing everything through a hologram. There are some truly cool moments that you are playing and fighting through as you encounter this stuff.
So Mark said that is a really cool story naturally after you talked about Horizon. He did not say that after we talked about Nier.
Well, because the only thing I said was I redacted my statement with Doki. But
no. I'm thinking like your reaction to one over the other. I feel
because I wasn't sure whether to not care so much about Nier or Doki. I feel I like them both. Like Nier's story is cool, but the problem with it, I think, is its complexity through like multiple pathways.
But that's just a narrative choice. Like that's the vehicle in which the story is meant. That's the way the vehicle.
Well, actually, no. Maybe not that. Maybe it's just more so just Yoko Taro's way of writing can get a little.
It's dense.
It's it's a lot to it.
It's layered. It's not as layered.
The cool thing about Nier is like those first two playthroughs, you're playing through it, and it's just like, oh, that's a really cool moment I'm experiencing. Like this call is like really fucked, and then like you don't know how it plays into the story.
Yeah.
And then like you do another thing with like Pascal, and like, oh, that's really cool. I don't know how it plays into the story. B starts to like stitch it all together, and then Route C does this weird thing where it pulls that thread tight, where it all becomes cohesive.
Yeah.
The problem with doing it that way is the entire way has to be interesting or keep you interested enough to keep going. That first half of Route B is painful if you're just trying to get through the story.
But that's like saying that the only way that this particular Batman comic book sucks because if you don't read
the bridge or whatever.
But if you don't read these other 3 issues, you're not going to get the full context. But like if you do read those 3 issues, which are part of the same story, like this is all part of the same story. I don't know.
I do really like Nier's story. And I think I don't want it to. I want it on the short list. I think at the end of the day here.
So what do we cut? We got to cut something. We've got Nier, Horizon, Resident Evil 7, and Doki.
Now that you know, all right, let's.
My vote says cut Doki. That's where I'm feeling. I'm just gonna put that out there and see what you guys say.
I mean, I'm okay with that.
All right. And best story goes to.
The only thing I wanted to add to Resident Evil that I kind of forgot. With Not a Hero, it explains a lot about Umbrella because you're like, what the fuck? Because that was an evil organization.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Why is Chris with them?
Right.
That's why people thought there's a theory going around that was probably Hunk and not really Chris. But it turns out that they just wanted a more realistic take on Resident Evil finally, so they just remade Chris. So it is Chris.
Oh, weird.
He was still with the BSAA from 5.
Yeah.
He's head of that. In the movie between these, where he works with Leon, they both decided they hate their jobs and they want to form a new thing and work together. But he's still kind of part of BSAA, I guess.
Was that like Regeneration or something like that? What was the name of that movie?
That sounds right.
I don't. There's one that just came out, within the last year.
And these aren't the beautiful main Resident Evil movies with Mila Jovovich.
No, these CG.
Just want to clear that up.
The CG movies are canon.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get that part in this, but you find out that Umbrella wants to rebrand itself. It wants to make up for all the mistakes that it made in the past, and they want to start fixing everything. So Chris is head of, bioweapons, whatever. He handles that shit. So he has his own crew and everything. So he's partnering with this Umbrella, who goes by the letters PMC. I forgot what they stand for. And they're working. So he's not working for Umbrella, but he's partnering.
Yeah.
Like
with
I
them.
get that, but does Resident Evil 7 feed you that information? Or do you have to go looking for it? Okay.
No,
all
you
right.
get. I read his files.
Okay, all right. I just want to make
As
sure.
soon as you start to get his
Yeah.
inventory, he has those files. And
Okay.
It's like,
Okay.
Because you started talking about the movie, I just want to make sure 7 is feeding that information and not something else.
Yeah, but that was just.
How do you feel about Resident Evil 7 now that we kind of recap Nier and Horizon?
I feel a little better about Resident Evil. I thought it was going to be the weaker out of most of it. I didn't think it was going to make the short list, to be honest, just because of the main game. But the DLC definitely made up for it, I feel like. Because there wasn't I know Resident Evil's known for having stupid files to go through.
If you're saying the DLCs was making up for it.
Well,
then,
for the ending.
Right. So then, as a complete story, best story, would you say Resident Evil ranks above the other 2? On its own, no DLC.
I think Horizon's the best.
Matt?
I played Horizon for 2 main reasons. The first reason was the story.
You feel it's better than Nier?
Yes.
I think Nier's really good at sending messages.
Done. Best story. 2017. Horizon Zero Dawn. With runners-up, Nier, Automata, and Resident Evil 7. We're going to move on to most surprising, but first we got to get a Ben Barris. We'll be right back. All right, we are back. It is time for most surprising. Your nominees for most surprising are Doki Doki Literature Club, Nier Automata, Cuphead, Super Bomberman R, Player Unknown's Battlegrounds, Let It Die, Hello Neighbor, Metroid Samus Returns, Prey, HQ Trivia, and Everything.
I'm just gonna start. Hello Neighbor. How is that looking nowadays?
I haven't really tried it since it's officially released. I heard not so great things.
That's what I've been
I
hearing.
heard it's got a rough
I
start.
don't know if anyone here played it.
In terms of surprising, though,
Its idea was neat.
Yeah.
To have an AI bot learn from you and know how to prevent you from going into that house as much as he can, and you forcing you to find new ways, and then it gets twisted along the way.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was surprising, but that's pretty much it.
All right, gone.
I have a question.
Sup?
What's when HQ is on here?
Yeah.
I can see how it can be surprising on a couple levels, but which one are we referring to here? Just like how it's like an event?
I don't know. I'm fine with cutting that one, honestly.
I just want to put on the record
It's
that a corner of my house last night
I know.
was on their cell phones
Mm-hmm.
playing HQ. That is just, it's a weird phenomenon.
It is, but when we're talking about like surprising, I don't know that it's definitely a phenomenon. I just don't know that it needs to be on most surprising.
Okay.
It doesn't blow.
I mean,
my
I'm fine
mind.
with cutting it. I'm just
Yeah.
like,
No, it's a thing.
that is a
Like a-
weird beast now.
Yeah, like it is surprising in certain ways. I just didn't know what we were referring to.
And it's
Yeah.
surprising the amount of technical difficulties he's been running into lately.
It's true.
Is that a surprise?
You can cut PUBG.
You think
I think the most surprising thing about that is
how big it got?
Yeah.
how it's a titan
Yeah,
Mhm.
among game. Like it's a genre
They never took Dota.
I know.
And I know it's not
And
the game
Huh?
that
and League.
started this, I guess, genre, but I mean, right now it's up there, and you're gonna see a bunch of clones,
Yeah.
like
I
the one
mean,
I sent this morning about
Fortnite.
CS:GO.
And
Yeah.
Fortnite and
I guess that's the strongest point, which is the overwhelmingly
Yeah.
fan base and
All right, why is Cuphead on here?
I was just about to put that.
I
I had high expectations for that game, and they played out.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna cut that.
Now, how
Oh, my list isn't updated.
how
God damn it.
spoiler?
We won't.
Okay, so most surprising. Are you just talking about surprising as in like it's actually good, or like surprising
I
because
think-
something?
It could be both, right? I
Okay.
think maybe the story surprised you. Maybe the sheer existence of it, like Super Bomberman R, is surprising.
Konami making games.
True. Yeah, Konami
Um,
making it an old game again.
I think Metroid Samus Returns deserves to be on this short list just because it's like, what? You guys haven't made one of these games, and finally,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
never mind.
Let It Die. Actually, that's my
Yeah.
game today.
Yeah.
So I guess that maybe that'll be surprising for me later.
I didn't expect that game to be a game. Like, it's free to play. It's a weird thing. And I spent so much time with it.
Yeah.
All
right.
It's a really good, in a world without Bloodborne, Let It Die is like a fucking cool punk rock murdery. Yeah, I don't know.
It's when you go the other way with that. When you go from Bloodborne to Let It Die, which was something I tried.
You can't go directly in it, but
Yeah.
when you're like, man, I really want Bloodborne, but
You played it.
I played it. You're like, Let It Die.
And already have a platinum trophy.
And like, it had no right to be good. Like, free to play games,
Yeah,
not
correct,
good.
yeah.
Like, but
Mhm.
this is so good.
Yeah, I think it
that
killed a
part-
stigma.
I think that
right
part
there
was
a
the
little
most
bit.
surprising.
Yeah.
Was breaking that.
I think this is the point where I can cut Prey.
Okay.
Prey's it opens so well.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't stick to that opening, and that's not bad because like the opening was to reveal like, oh shit, you're in a space station.
Yeah.
Like it's all a big setup to that. But what's surprising is like I didn't expect a Nemesis character to be in that game, and that was a really
That's pretty
cool mechanic. How like just like Nemesis in Resident Evil 3, it kind of pops up at everywhere, and it's kind of like a fight or flight.
Yeah.
And some of the areas in that game are really pretty, and I like the whole like jetpack system. It's not great on controller, but I can see that working great on mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game did some cool things. It's just I compared to some of this other stuff, I don't know if it holds up.
Okay.
Man,
How surprised were you by everything? Like what?
it was a weird experience. Just like, but yeah, I guess I don't know. Once in the game, you're kind of like,
I'm just like I'm not saying to cut it. I'm kind of like, what were your expectations going into that game?
honestly, if you've seen that trailer, you kind of know what to expect. But even the trailer itself is a surprise. Like, it's such a different experience. You're not expecting a video game to be like that, and it just does weird things that just kept like going down into the molecular level and rising back up into the universal level. Like that stuff was like, whoa, man, I did not. This is me.
Right
you know.
on.
That's fine. So you want to keep it on the list for now?
For now, yeah.
Okay.
If we were talking about sheer existence, Super Bomberman R versus Samus Returns, I feel like
Bomberman, I think, is the unexpected one.
Bomberman
Yeah.
surprises me more.
Yeah.
And it being as good.
Metroid
as
was
it is.
definitely like, what? You guys just announced one like a second ago. What are you doing announcing?
But you ever do.
Right. So, but I
mean, you had to go to YouTube to figure that out.
well, if you were still watching
Already
the
the
live
live
If you
stream,
stuck
live
around the
stream.
treehouse,
Yeah, that's
like
true.
we.
But
the other thing though, Mercury Steam did not expect Metroid
That's true.
Samus Returns to be good, and then
Mm.
with them being behind it, and then whoa. Even still, I'll cut it.
What were your expectations going into Nier? And like, in what way did that surprise you?
Like weird
Okay.
anime
I think your like words is like saying like what that
waifu
surprised me.
girl. I did not expect to like have like emotional breakthroughs in my own personal life by playing through that game. I did not expect to feel a deeper connection to humanity by playing that
I didn't
game.
have quite the same connection like with like at a personal level as you, but man, there were some moments that just hit you right in the fucking heart, really hard in
like,
that game.
whenever
One of them we've talked about at length.
yeah, but like whenever I show someone that game who's never seen it, they're like, "Oh, cool, waifu butt." Like that's what they think is like some girl's butt's hanging out in the game you're playing, and like it is so much more than that. Like that is not even.
I totally agree.
I would, because I remember when Mark, you were the one who originally brought it up, right? I think.
I don't know. I think it was kind of like a
that demo hit.
simultaneous
The
type
demo
thing, right?
hit last year, or like late last year, beginning of this year,
Yeah.
and I downloaded it just. I don't even know why the fuck I downloaded it.
I think you downloaded it, but I can't remember us talking about it much before that. But
No.
I know we recorded us playing it, and I was just like, I loved it.
I'm at a nominee.
Oh shit.
But yeah, I would, even after saying like, okay, even after saying, like when you were talking about saying like shit in this game, like it's wild, like
It
when you
definitely
still go
takes
into,
some
you still
turns.
get, I was still surprised. Like I knew some part was gonna happen. I mean, it's pretty obvious up front, but then after that, it's like the
Are
shit
you talking about Doki?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Doki. I thought you were talking about Nier.
Oh, I thought you guys.
I thought you said Nier.
I thought you guys were talking about Doki.
Oh.
Waifu butt.
Oh, see.
So I thought
Oh.
you were transitioning. Then I was
Gotcha.
like, wait a minute.
Gotcha. No, you're right though. But like Doki Doki, you're,
Okay, my bad.
But see, Doki, I kind of don't find it surprising.
I disagree.
Pardon?
Because I walked into that game and I was like, all right, well, this is tagged visual horror.
This whole game is built around surprise.
That
I
mean,
mean, that is the essence of this game.
that first hook though, that first turn, you're like, well, yeah, all right, I know. I don't. I guess
But
ultimately the payoff.
But the thing with that is, yeah, you may have known that, but did you expect it to like hit you as hard as it did?
oh, Sayori didn't hit me at all. I
but
knew
like
that
the
was
other
happening.
like weird shit though.
That's the whole game.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No.
Alright.
I didn't. I'm not saying cut it. I'm just saying.
I just thought it was cool that first, like it's a free to play game, and then you see that tag, you're kind of confused. You don't know exactly what to
You
expect.
boot the game, it reinforces that idea.
It gives like the appeal to it was to bring in people who normally don't play these type of weird anime visual novels,
Yeah.
and
And it totally got me to play one of those.
It took a turn for the fucking worst in the worst ways, and I didn't. What surprised to me was how all this, even using that fake ass guide, all that. Like I didn't expect this game to have such an impact on me that I would buy a keychain or a T-shirt or play the songs in my car still.
Yeah.
This fucking game out of
Yeah.
all of them.
All right, I'm gonna.
That's the like.
Yeah, I would keep it on.
I'm gonna cut. Let it die.
Sorry, I didn't mean to like sidetrack. I,
No,
I
but-
legit
no.
thought
You're fine.
you were talking about.
I'm
All right.
Yeah.
I'm cutting. Let it die. And Matt added "Hidden My Game" by Mom too. I did
I
not.
can agree with that.
That game caught me off guard.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm in Nashville, right? And I'm listening to the podcast
Yeah.
I wasn't around for, and
Right.
I forget who brings it up. Was it you?
Probably. I'm
Think
an idiot.
Joe, yeah.
I don't know.
He starts talking about this dumb fucking game, I'm like, what the now what are we getting into? This is what happens when I leave the podcast for 1 week.
Yep.
And, I booted it up, and oh my god, I dived in.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't believe how
Yeah.
clever and fun and silly and dumb and stupid, but awesome that game was.
Yeah.
I mean, it won Best Mobile Game by a landslide. Remember that conversation the
Oh,
first
yeah,
day
yeah, yeah.
where as soon as we got to the top the three,
We knew.
3-1,
Yeah.
right away. So I just didn't expect that from a little mobile game.
I think we can cut Super Bomberman R.
I agree. It's
I'm
a
okay
nice
with that.
surprise, but it's not a big surprise.
Yeah. It was like, oh, didn't
Alright.
expect you guys to make video
Like
games.
Doki to me is a big surprise,
Doki is a big surprise.
especially the
Nier is a big
extra
surprise.
stuff. Yeah.
Is
I s-
Hidden My Game by Mom a bigger surprise than everything?
You gotta ask yourself that question.
Yeah, because you're the only one here. That
You
played it.
actually started and found both games, and we all played the second one, but we did not play everything.
I would say everything is more.
I would agree with that.
Just because, like, you know what you're getting yourself into with Hidden My Game by Mom. I mean, it's surprising that there's a fun mobile game that's, like, not
Yeah.
bullshit. But, like,
And it has some surprising moments, but like everything just
in the end, it's just little, like, mini games. Like,
Yeah.
it's not, you know what I mean? It's it's worthy, though.
No, I'm glad we talked about it. But yeah, I think everything ultimately is like, yeah. All right, so that leaves our final finalists with Doki Doki Literature Club, Nier Automata, and Everything.
I'll say this: I still think it's surprising that Nier is good. Not playing it myself. I mean, I know it's a good game just hearing you guys talk about it.
Like all the
When-
weird shit too. Like it in like sequences goes from a third person action game to a top down shooter to a side scrolling shooter
Yeah.
to
Nier's the weirdest anime I've ever experienced,
yes.
and I haven't even finished it.
I
guess same goes for Doki.
Yeah.
More of the slice of life variety.
I mean, Joe, do you think it's fair to say like everything's probably not gonna win, or is that part of this conversation? I think that's the
Yeah.
bigger question to ask right now.
No, I think there are surprising moments in that. Obviously, right? But I feel like Nier is the forerunner for me over Doki. But I don't know how you guys feel.
I think Doki.
For Doki, for me, it's more so with the post game stuff.
Yeah, like I think we all kind of could figure out like,
I mean, at first it was just just playing it,
and then,
it
the
just keeps
Sayori
going.
and
Yeah.
we
But you
kind of
can,
had that feeling that was gonna happen. But then like, what happens to the evolution of the character Monica? It's like fucking wild and
Yeah, I agree.
and then the other stuff that you can find out if you choose to.
yeah.
I still just
It's a whole like sub layer of.
I feel like Nier as a whole, though, like the gameplay, the story, the way the story is told,
I would pick Nier.
ending E. I don't know.
I would pick Nier.
There's so many little moments
I
in
don't.
that game.
I think I could go either way. Doki
I
or
wish-
Nier.
See, this is when I wish I played Nier to its
well,
fullest.
think back to our conversation about ending E and what I talked about with the credits,
And best
Like-
what we just talked about with story and
like all that stuff, like that. Just
I don't know. I'm still more attached to Doki in the end.
I can go either way. I'm like 50-50 split.
I feel, I mean, obviously because I played it and not as much as Nier, which sucks for this, but like, I don't know, just that I have a more. I guess Nier's the same way to you as Doki is to me, where it's just like even after playing it, it's still like stuck in your head of like what happened and like the insight of the creator behind it all and the messages that are being sent across and all those like philosophies and everything. Like they both hit those notes in
Yeah.
different ways.
yeah.
No, my vote's for Nier because I keep thinking about that Pascal thing.
I'll vote Nier.
Mark, you all right?
I'm gonna have to be.
All
That's the winner.
Are you? I mean, do we feel we're good with that?
I mean, I could have went either way, but like as he was saying that about like the moments.
I like Nier. I don't hate
like,
it.
No,
like,
I
that's-
know.
like those moments that punch you and like that stick with you. Like as we have these conversations, like Doki had an impact on me, but like there's just the moments in Nier. where
I
I'm
will be
just
talking
like,
about Nier for years. Doki, I think I'm talking about now. I'm not saying I won't be, but like that game's Doki is I don't know. I'm not trying to discount Doki. I just
think you kind of knew what you're getting yourself into playing Nier as to playing Doki.
I did not at all.
You knew you were going to play an action game. You knew it was going to like.
But it actually
something,
didn't turn into an action game. It was more of an RPG.
It's totally
Action
action with the combat though. Like
RPG?
you knew like Platinum was
I don't
making
know,
a
I still gotta
game,
play it.
and you kind of knew of somewhat to expect from a Platinum game going into this.
I didn't because I never played a Platinum game. This was my first one, and then even separate from that, the gameplay wasn't the full surprise. It was the depth in which the story went. Like really, the story was the most surprising part, and the way the story was told, the way that the narrative was driven, the way that like gameplay elements are a piece of it. Like where you do switch between different styles of combat, that was a surprise. But I think also like the characters, how halfway through the game you play as a different character, like all those little things. I'm not gonna jump into it, but like the big reveal with one of the characters, right? Like those little things. Like there's so many little surprising moments in this game where I don't know. The sum of them is greater than the whole.
All right.
Nier.
It's already.
Well, I did it when we did it, and then
It's in bold, Joe.
I
No.
can unbold it.
No, it's 3-1. There's no point. It's just let it go.
Let
it die.
I was just gonna say, like I said earlier, I'm surprised it's actually a good game. Like it actually got Steam. Like
Nier definitely is more enriched than Doki. Like,
well, that's kind of unfair too. Like Doki's one guy.
I mean, it's
You
still I'm not
for a game that's like 3 to 5 hours.
No, Doki
It's got a lot. Yeah.
Doki is big. Doki is
Yeah.
a very, very surprising game. I just think like when you look
It
at
made the short list, so.
every piece of it, boom. Most surprising, Nier Automata with runners-up Doki Doki Literature Club and everything. Which brings us to Best Marketing, another debut category for us this year. Your nominees are PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, StarCraft, Super Mario Odyssey, Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, Nintendo Switch, Resident Evil 7, Biohazard.
First things first.
God damn it. Maybe not that part. What up with StarCraft?
Is that the
Nobody saw that commercial.
I don't think I
We
did.
talked about it last night, but I never went back to
there
watch
is
it.
like this family. They're like having they're like in the dining room or kitchen, and the kid's playing a game. I'm assuming it was StarCraft or some other game, and he was failing. He was losing, and he wanted to pay the win because he just wanted to give up. He didn't want to get better. And the dad turned around like, "Excuse me, we are not quitters in this house. We do not pay to win." Like he was giving this big lecture on how like you just need to get good, basically, and it was promoting that StarCraft is free to play now and all that stuff.
Right.
That was cool.
That was pretty good.
But that's it.
Yeah. Wolfenstein 2.
Don't look at me. I avoided it because I think Ben was the one to put
All right.
that. Yeah.
I don't care. For me, I think that's because
I think I saw a
not
bit of it.
bringing,
I know.
really trying so hard not to bring
Politics to this.
politics into this, but in the politics world right now, Nazi stuff is out there.
Weirdly
Yeah,
enough.
I know. 2017 FYE is still here.
And in 2024, we're going to be playing chess in a VR
Right,
world.
right.
So.
True. That's so
You're
true.
doing it now.
I brought this up before. I specifically remember the Wolf 2 Facebook page, the official one, would slowly, like each day, they would put some kind of marketing, whatever it was. And I remember the one time everybody was saying, wow, they're pussies, they're not showing the swastika.
Right.
Legit, the next day, it showed the swastika and then someone punching the Nazi in the face. And then it said something like, see a Nazi, punch him in the face. So I'm just like, going balls deep. They don't give a fuck. They're not hiding.
Yeah, they lean real hard into that
You know
shit.
what I mean? And I think I'm not saying it's smart for them to kind of tie this game into current politics, which is crazy to say. I think it's kind of interesting how they they kind of unintentionally went into that market. Like I think it was lucky for them that for some reason why this is in politics today, and their game also has to deal with said thing. So
It's like, hasn't Wolfenstein always dealt with like Nazis?
oh, that's what I'm saying all the
Yeah,
time. But I
yeah.
mean, like, but with the
But
current
it
state,
just happened to be a good.
It
There
just
was like
happened to be a good
a,
time
like a
for it,
PC
yeah.
sensitive
Yeah.
like, thing.
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
People were like, "Are they
Exactly.
going to do it?" Yeah.
exactly.
Did that sell the game? I think if we're talking about best marketing, we got to talk about the thing that sold the thing.
Wolfenstein: The New Order sold me the game.
Yeah, the marketing.
I mean, yeah, for
Marketing's
us,
fucking-
yeah. But for us, I would say I'm just as excited that Wolfenstein's still a game because
Sure.
I've been playing. Like I played the old Wolfenstein. I played the Wolfenstein the 2007
The
game from
Raven
like
one?
Raven,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
wasn't it wasn't bad. But actually, I don't know. See, I can't. I
All right,
don't know
well,
if that's
just
what
put it.
sold.
We'll put a pin
yeah,
in it.
Yeah.
So, PUBG.
I'm the one to put that on there. I think we can take this off. I just thought it was amazing how just word of mouth
Yeah,
made this game
Oh, it
as
did
big as it
100%.
was. Like,
I agree.
but we've seen other word of mouth things.
I think it's
blow up.
impressive. But when
Yeah.
you start looking at the rest of this list, like Super Mario Odyssey, that song, period, the end.
Even before that,
Yeah.
during the Switch reveal,
Yep. Nintendo Karen.
there was a little sliver of like Mario footage where everyone was like, "Hold on,
Yeah,
You're a
that's a
person?
fucking Mario game I've never
what
seen
is that?
before.
Explain that."
Yeah.
Nipples?
Before even the person, before the nipples.
Yeah.
I mean, the nipples. That was peak of the marketing
Yeah.
campaign. But
But yeah, then when they revealed the T-Rex and then had a little hat and then that song
Yeah,
kicked
that's-
on, it was
yeah.
just like note
Yeah.
for note.
the Switch. That's
a commercial.
That's some fucking marketing.
Yeah.
Now you can't include Karen into this.
No, that was last
This is
year.
2016.
But this year, man, like just kind of knowing
I kind
what
of
that
even like
thing
the
is.
new batch of marketing they just put out for like the holidays, where like someone's moving around the house and they're just avoiding like all this destruction that's coming along, and then
Yeah.
like they keep avoiding it like accidentally, like they're just
Right.
walking around the room playing, and then they just finally sit down and like the whole room turns into that environment. I think a lot of it's for like Skyrim right now, or
Yeah.
I think some of it maybe Doom too. Yeah, but yeah, I don't. Yeah, they're
Switch
pushing
has
it.
some really good, and I think the thing itself is a marketing tool. Anyway, it's like you just know it, you get it. You're like, yeah, it's the marketing's in the fucking name.
Yeah.
RE7 had really, really dope demos.
I added that right before, by the way.
I thought
That
that was
wasn't on
me
the
for
list
some reason. I was
originally.
like, when did I? What?
No, oh well.
But I think those
starters-
demos are just
Yeah, after playing that kitchen demo last night.
And that was
In
like
VR.
that was like version 1.
Yeah.
And then you have the Resident Evil 7
I
demo.
don't think you can count this, but I did like what they did. Like this is a couple of years. This is before you know what Resident Evil 7 was, when the press was playing those demos, that kitchen demo, and
That's-
no
yeah,
one
yeah.
knew what it was.
Yeah,
but
that's,
then
what,
it
that's
turned
what we were
it.
just talking
Yeah,
about.
okay, so after you left yesterday, I have a demo disc here.
Mhm.
Kitchen is on that.
Yeah, I'm not playing that.
It's
There's not a shot
it's
in hell I'm
horrifying.
playing it.
I
Yeah,
thought-
you're saying it's horrifying. There's
Yeah.
not a shot in hell I'm playing it. And we just talked about RE7 a little bit, just recently. That game is full of mad nightmares.
Just nopes.
Yeah,
Just
he described a few of the enemies, and all of them was just like, there's no way. There's no way.
But add the VR.
No,
element.
I'm
Yeah.
not, no, that's dumb. That's real dumb.
It's like
I can be 80
gold
feet away from a
mine.
TV and still be scared shitless.
It's like I could feel the hands. That was
I
the
know.
weirdest part ever. It's like because there's a part, Matt, when
You
know
Mark actually told me about this experience yesterday, and I had
yeah.
the same reaction last night with a few beers in me. Like, no, I'm not playing this game.
Yeah.
just
Turning around, she wasn't there.
God.
Ugh, nope.
Ugh.
all right. So we got StarCraft, Super Mario Odyssey, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, Nintendo Switch, and Resident Evil 7. What gets the axe?
I might say Wolfenstein.
I was saying it sounds like I was the only one
It's good,
about Wolf 2.
Yeah,
But, I
it-
mean, if you want to exit,
I can't defend it because I didn't watch it.
but it's not as charming to me as these other ones.
All right.
there was no charm in those.
I mean, like I don't mean that in like a
Yeah.
filtered,
Yeah.
safe sense.
No, I know.
But like StarCraft might be cut too.
You think? I like.
I
think it's
I like it,
yeah.
but
I had never.
But
heard of it.
overall, best.
Yeah.
but like that's that's it. You know what I mean? Like that's it's just
All right.
that
Well, I
one
think Ben
thing.
just said it. I didn't hear of it until
Yeah.
now, and this is marketing.
Yeah.
Like,
All right. So
I
Super
didn't
Mario
either.
Odyssey, Nintendo Switch, and Resident Evil 7.
I think the Switch is my vote.
The coolest thing about Resident Evil 7 is that it's interactive. So in a way, I guess that's kind of word of mouthy too.
And I think in a post PT world where we're all looking for something like that, for them to go like, "Yo, here you go, try this out."
And there's
Yeah.
multiple versions.
Although,
Laying it right in their lap.
was any of that stuff this year? Those demos.
Oh wait,
Nope.
no, it wasn't.
When was the last version?
Right before the game came out, but I don't remember if it was in January or in December. It's fine. It can stay.
See, it's tricky because it's well, the Switch.
I think it's tough for Resident Evil 7 because the game released in January, so you do kind of have to look at last year a bit to see
True.
what the hype
All right,
train
fair.
was.
All right, so what do we like best? Those interactive demos, the Nintendo Switch stuff, plus we're not talking about the event that Mark and I went to, which was holy shit, some marketing.
I keep forgetting you guys went to that.
Yeah.
Me too.
Uh,
That's a problem.
that was a big one. That was a big, cool
Because
ass
it doesn't
event.
feel like it was this year.
I know.
Where was that? Was that Baltimore?
DC.
Oh,
Yeah. It's fucking dope.
That was cool.
It was really cool. We got to like play the things, touch the things. They had all these cool sets built with Mario Kart in different, like you played it on a plane, you played it in a diner, and they were all like Mario themed.
Like,
We get to sit in a Mario Kart. We got to play ARMS for the first time. We got to play Splatoon.
they did do a lot of tours
Yeah.
with like a mobile thing for people as well, and like areas that would not have locations to play video games conveniently.
I'm voting Nintendo Switch.
I was gonna do Mario until all that happened. Shit. All right. Yeah. Switch.
Switch?
Switch. I mean, it's outdone the Wii U already, and it's
You own a Switch, Matt?
I do.
Switch wins this category.
I don't own a Switch, but
But no, but you didn't hate the Wii U.
I didn't.
He at every turn, like the letter W is just Matt's just
Capitalized W.
right triggered.
you revealed it on a podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I'm
So-
glad I have it.
yeah. Switch wins best marketing. 2017 with runners-up Super Mario Odyssey and Resident Evil 7. This one gets a little self-indulgent, but we're gonna talk about our favorite free cheese moment. These are the moments that we've had either on the podcast, playing video games, whatever.
Most of it on air.
Most of it on air in some form or fashion. That just like we're happy it happened. So our nominees are Metallica, The Hammer in Hitman, our Paperboy Retro Spotlight, Fast and Furious in Super Mario Maker, Matt playing PT, Miiverse, The N-Gage, the podcast crashes and we hack into the Matrix, hacknet into the Matrix. Region Free means Mother 3 with a accompanying t-shirt, and the Nintendo Switch event in Washington, D.C. So,
All right, Metallica. Is it just you two saying Metallica on the podcast over and over again?
yeah, no, I think that initial like Metallica high five moment was just like, yeah, like Ben's back. That was that moment.
It's a good free cheese meme.
Yeah, it was good. We can cut that one though. That one's on the grand scale of
It's
things.
not cut from our hearts though.
No.
We can cut me playing PT because I did not enjoy that moment
Yeah,
at
I
all.
was
You
talking
might not
about?
have, but the rest of
Loved
the
it.
world did.
Yeah, shut up. Nerd.
Uh,
Loved it.
We can cut that.
I pissed my pants the entire time playing that
I'm
game.
glad
You had
we
me on
did it.
camera.
I'm glad we did. I'm glad we said we were gonna do it. We followed
Here's
up
the
on
thing,
it. And it
if you can
fucking
play
happened.
that, you can play Resident Evil.
I hardly
is
played
bond.
it. Did you watch me play that game? I hardly played it.
Yeah, I did.
The
The N-Gage is near and dear to my heart, but
yeah,
Yeah.
that was really good. And you know what? Miiverse as well. Miiverse, like we had a good time saying goodbye to that, but it
Are we
was
talking
fun.
about just that moment with Miiverse, or are we talking about every other moment we've had with Miiverse?
We've had other moments, but they're all the same. It's always just like, look at what this 8-year-old did now. Oh, look at what this other one drew.
Hey, there was some good art.
There was some good art. There's a lot of good.
but then there was
yeah.
parts
lot
of Miiverse that was like the playing Ryan at PUBG, you know.
Worse than I would say sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Fast and Furious and Mario Maker. I liked our level. I liked that we made #family. That we
The sound effect.
the sound effect of Dom going family, and every time you jumped on a Goomba's head, family. That was pretty great. But yeah,
It's kind of a sad moment, but it was an awesome moment, but because I want to include something that kind of has most of us. But the podcast crashing. And
Yes.
we trying to salvage it by going into the freaking.
We did so much. Like, we learned so much about computers that night.
I left at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were still
We
trying
started,
to troubleshoot.
and you were like, fuck you guys, I gotta work.
Yeah.
And we were trying everything. It was before we started using Matt's computer primarily.
this was
for
the
recording.
cause of using.
This is why we use Matt's computer. Because my hard drive took a shit, and we went to export a podcast, and it just,
So
Nope.
now that episode is a description? Is that what happened?
yeah, I think that
it's
episode.
it's an
It's an
article
article?
in the.
Yeah.
Damn.
There was a lot of good
Um,
stuff in that episode too.
I know, it was a really good episode, and we got none of it. All gone. But yeah, we tried everything to recover. But yeah, we
I
can
don't know if that's my favorite.
cut that.
It was
We
sad.
lost
No,
It was
I
a
was saying
good
cut it.
It was
Yeah,
a good bonding experience.
Worthy acknowledgement.
I felt powerful in that moment.
Yeah,
But
a lot of.
Yeah.
I'm glad I played Hacknet at that point, and it got you to play Hacknet.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. As much as I really don't want to do this, I can cut Region Free Means Mother 3.
I mean, that's just like a campaign. That's not a moment. That's a campaign.
That's true. That's true. It transcends a moment. Fuck a moment. Best free cheese thing of the year and to come.
Mantra.
So that leaves us with the Hammer in Hitman.
I think I know what the winner's gonna be. But let's
Our-
talk about the other two first.
our
before-
Paperboy Retro Spotlight and the Switch event in Washington, D.C. We just talked about the Switch event. I mean, we had so much fun. Like, driving down there was fun. Like, being
I would
excited.
love to do more stuff like that.
I know.
I feel like
That'd be
that's
cool.
I think that's that's a direction we need to explore more.
Yeah, we should look at that for 2018. Like, how do we get into shit? What kind of kooky shit can we get up to next?
Well, there's
I
MagFest
know.
coming up. There's
Well, y'all can film that. I forgot to buy tickets or do any of it, but
Don't worry, because if you didn't do it the first day within the
Yeah.
first hour, it just sold out and you're shit out of luck and you can't go. Don't bother.
yeah. I feel like that place is just going.
It's too big,
downhill.
man. It's
going
too big.
downhill.
It's getting too big for itself.
but no, it was fun. We just walked around, dumb, played dance, just dance with that lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just fun. Like being in that little place, and it was like, it was nice. The Paperboy Retro Spotlight I just rewatched.
Oh, that was yesterday.
You mean Vapor Boy?
Yeah, like all of the
That
dumb
was just
things.
so much fun to film and make.
Yeah,
And
like that was one of the
conversations we had nothing to do with Paperboy. at
right.
all.
But I think that was like one of the
That's
moments.
what I like about it.
Yeah, and that was one of the
Yeah.
moments where I was like, "This is what right. We're doing the right thing here."
Yeah. Like that felt. Okay, so compared to Hitman, this is tough. This is like Paperboy is like the little wanderer to the colossi that is Hitman. Because we have multiple things of Hitman. We made a thing out of we took a little joke and we went with it.
But I think that moment of the hammer,
The hammer itself.
when we first realized the
glorious.
true power,
I was gonna say it wasn't necessarily finding it; it was
Throwing
it for the
Right.
first time and realizing what Hitman really had to offer. With
Right.
some physics.
that
and-
sound effect, it just makes the right
I
smack.
do remember seeing that on the YouTubes.
And then the
It's
guy
good.
goes like falling, and it's like
Then, the brick's pretty good too, though.
The brick's pretty good. The fire extinguisher's pretty good, but that hammer was the first one for us, where it was just like, I think the hammer, I think it signifies a greater shift in the free cheese and our interaction with Hitman. Hitman very well could have died off quickly, but that hammer was a moment where we went, oh no, this game's got potential.
Yeah.
Plus, Cannibal Corpse's song "Hammered Smash Face." That's what I keep thinking
Sure,
about
yep.
every
See?
time. So
And that helps.
I'm gonna try to bring Slayer and Cannibal Corpse as much as I can into this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm
got
trying to-
Metallica.
And
Not
Metallica.
Metallica.
Right, right.
Metallica, all the above. Yes.
Maybe is Hitman the winner here?
Hitman's my winner. That was a weird thing.
I vote Hitman.
I also like Paperboy, but
I think what we do with Paperboy is I like that. What's the word?
style.
I like that chemistry.
Yeah,
and I want more games to invoke that, but I just wasn't sure if retro was what that was supposed to be. Because like now playing I can get.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, but in general I think that chemistry also carried into Hitman.
But that was a really good recording session, I think. That was
Yeah.
ultimately, yeah. All right, Hitman it is.
I just feel like that's appropriate.
Yeah, I agree. So our favorite free cheese moment of 2017 is finding the hammer, using the hammer in
I
Hitman.
think I timestamped it in our first video that we did.
Yeah,
that.
you did. It's in the comments.
Yeah.
With runners-up, Paperboy Retro Spotlight and the Nintendo Switch event in Washington, D.C. It's going to bring us to our final category for the day, favorite industry moment. Your nominees are the Mario and Rabbids reveal, Xbox backwards compatibility, Spelunky 2, Rocket League on Switch, the Nintendo Switch reveal in January, vaulting in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds confirmed, Ninja Turtles in Injustice, the Death Stranding trailer, and, quote, fuck your Oscars, end quote, which I'm going to get highlight and delete immediately.
Oh, that... It's not your... never mind. That was a typo on my part. It was supposed to be you.
Oh.
Fuck you, Oscars.
Well, that one's gone,
Oh,
if you're okay
well,
with that.
Damn.
Not my favorite industry moment.
Come on, man. Jeff's trying to get him off the stage or getting... Hey, we got a trailer. Hey, come on. You got to go. You got to
I just felt bad for Jeff.
I know,
Jeff
me
Keighley's
too.
fucking dude. He had a podcast series. I wish he still did it. It was kind of like No Clip, but it was strictly podcast. And
Oh,
the
I
first-
remember them.
Yeah, he interviewed Gabe Newell in the first episode.
Yeah, a lot of stuff I saw when back in game trailers. I'd
Yeah.
watch a lot of his stuff there, and then he would be on like GameStop TV because of that stuff
Right.
from there. It was like,
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good moments on here. Like, a lot of really good moments. I think the next one to drop, Ben, vaulting in PUBG.
Look, I'm okay with that. But I just let it be known, I was jumping for joy when
I
saw
know.
that.
I know. It's a huge
Go ahead,
huge
take it out.
moment
Take it out.
I think that's a huge moment for that game,
Yeah.
for that game. As an industry,
as we all experienced.
'Cause I remember that even that E3 video was just that little segment of people just jumping over shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like, every other game's doing it, but
Every
now
game
I'm
has
like-
it, but when PUBG does it, Lord Jesus.
Death Stranding.
Yeah, I just want that game to go away.
Yeah,
go
I'm
away
good.
and bake,
Yeah.
and then come back in
Yeah.
Let it roast in the
2022.
it was nice. It was nice to get that little more insight, but
We know it's in development. We
it's
got
not
it.
as impactful
Yeah.
as the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, come in 2025 when I'm ready to stop playing
Yeah.
chess. You know.
Spelunky 2?
This is getting tough. Spelunky 2 was so, like, what the fuck?
I don't like how they handled it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was in the pre-show, which is
No,
weird.
but it was like the very.
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool that it was like the last thing.
because a lot of
in
people
a
probably
way.
saw it tuning in, but
No,
yeah.
but I think, like,
I feel like it deserved a bigger reveal.
maybe we should
Me
talk
too.
about this at most surprising, but, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was definitely, I was like, yo, he just announced that other game,
yeah,
UFO
that
50,
mini
but
game thing,
I wouldn't even call it a minigame thing. Apparently, they're, like, full-fledged ass games.
whatever.
I
it is,
know,
like,
but
yeah.
that thing.
They're full. They're 51 sessions.
Yeah. But yeah, Spelunky 2, that was just like, whoa. But we can cut that.
I think Rocket League on Switch. That's a personal thing. I don't think that's a free cheese thing.
I don't know, man. That definitely set a new precedent where it was like that game is running on Switch. It took a lot of work to get it on Switch, it seems.
Yeah, Nintendo made a big deal about it.
Um,
They have a 14-minute video,
well,
yeah,
I
and
think
there's a
just
lot
for
of
the-
marketing
and-
for it.
and-
You see how much that's
yeah.
the VGA?
but like
yeah.
that was just for the release date.
But I also think that like a big precedent was set with that where it was like, guys, you can put your games on Switch, you know? And if you think about like Rocket League on Switch was the first one, but then we got Doom.
Also,
Yeah.
And then
but the cross-playing factor.
That too. Like, there's a lot of stuff in there as a moment in this industry where Rocket League on Switch signifies more than I think you're giving it credit for. Yeah, you're
All right.
excited, but I think it's big.
Okay.
I think the same can be said for Xbox backwards compatibility. I think the same can be said for Mario and Rabbids. I think the same can be said for the Switch reveal, the Ninja Turtles and Injustice.
Weird and cool.
Dope.
Hold on. First, okay. I mean, I can see it getting cutting off here, but just my final words for it, before we give it a Viking send off. Turtles haven't been a fighting game since Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
Sega Genesis, Tournament Fighters era. For a game that's doing DC Comics from NetherRealms, was not expecting
No.
not
Yeah.
one but
No.
4.
No.
And and of course for me that's like a personal thing, as I guess Splunk would be with you or Rocket League would be with you.
No, but it is a big ass.
but it's like, what the fuck? But that was cool. That was really cool. But it just sucks that industry-wise, it's not much. But Ninja Turtle-wise, that's a big deal.
Ninja Turtles wise, it is a big deal. Fighting game wise, it's a big deal. I think it's cool as a fan of both things.
Yeah. But compared to
video
games as an industry, though,
yeah,
it doesn't hold up to that.
Are you dabbing?
No, he's ready to send off the arrow.
He's no dabbing.
I was doing the Viking arrow, but now I feel like I am doing the world's longest dab.
Well, if you face
just
that
like
way,
the world's longest yell.
keep your hands that way.
Oh,
There you
yeah.
go. There you go. That's how you shoot an arrow.
I was just practicing, being Aloy for a bit,
There you go.
Yeah. So,
All right, I'm gonna cut Ninja Turtles. That leaves us with Mario and Rabbids reveal, Xbox backwards compatibility, Rocket League on Switch, and the Nintendo Switch reveal in January. What's the next one to go?
Mario.
I don't know. The official reveal of that game was so cool. Seeing Miyamoto on stage,
Yeah,
I threw a credit card at a TV.
Yeah.
Too bad it got leaked like months before.
But that was
But
the
that
thing.
was it.
It got leaked, and
Yeah,
we were all
everyone's
like,
what?
Ew.
fuck this. And then when they showed it off, we were all like, oh my
XCOM
god.
3!
That was our game of E3. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
We walked out of
It was-
E3, and that was our number one.
It is a good reveal, but like industry wise, it's just Mario teaming up with another outside franchise. It's not the first time.
That's it.
But
You just said it.
But it is in a way, because Nintendo handed them over for this thing. The only other time it's been done is the Sonic Olympic Games, and
that's just Mario. They've handed their franchises to other people before. Namco has taken hand of things. Capcom has done Zelda games on Game Boy Advance. It's nothing that it's cool. It's fucking cool, but it's not entirely anything like.
But
it's humble and nice and lovely. It was cool that they got together, they got along, they're good friends. I think that's industry wise, it's cool that companies can do that and not always just be at each other's throats.
I
I
feel like
didn't
this
give a
one
shit
was
about
big.
it. I don't think it should be. Well, for me, it's definitely not favorite. I fucking hate the rabbits. If I hear rabbit, it's like Katamari level.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't like the rabbits either, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's the thing. After that reveal, where is it at now?
But you got to. Well, we
In
all
retros-
bought the game.
Yeah.
First of all.
No,
Two
I
of
think
you
just you
bought
and,
the
you and I
game.
did.
Okay, well, you did. Yeah, it's not around anymore, but you got to think back to yes, that was our game at E3. Between that and Spider-Man for me personally,
Yeah.
I never thought a Switch game was gonna be my game at E3, and then
Even over Super Mario Odyssey, we were all really
Yeah.
high on that game.
and then I'm looking at this list, and
I was more so Odyssey.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Same.
I'm looking at this list, and I think the Switch reveal in January, for what that was, the Karen commercial did it more for me.
I was watching that Switch reveal live while working at a school on my phone. I stopped my job to watch that.
Yeah, when I was up in New Jersey, we did the same thing.
And then I
everybody
listened to
kinda just, pens
podcasts just
down.
talk about it and speculate.
That Switch reveal was huge.
Yeah.
I
mean, it
counted
was-
down the days to that. That was where we found out that Mother 3 was coming to America. That was where we saw all of the... Yeah. No, yeah.
It will.
It happened.
It will.
It was huge. The Switch reveal was really big because it finally said, here it is. You're right. The Karen thing, I think, super effective. This was...
I just remember parts of that thing where we started talking about the motion controls, and there were parts where I was rolling my eyes. I'm like, here we go, Nintendo. Again, thank you.
But you played 1-2 Switch, and how was that?
It's true.
Milking that cow.
It was fine.
All right, we got to cut something. What are we cutting?
Rabbids.
It doesn't scream industry to me. It just screams companies can I don't know. That never mind.
No, I
Attack
get
that.
it. I
But
get
no,
it.
because that goes hand in hand. That's relevant. That makes sense. Xbox is only good right now in comparison because it's doing something that PlayStation should really get a hold of, and Nintendo I feel like will. It's just it should have happened already.
I just thought it was weird that with the Xbox backwards compatibility thing, everyone wanted 360. Kind of no one. I don't think. I'm sure there was people asking for the first Xbox, but people were satisfied. We got this at least.
Well,
and then they
yeah.
double dipped again. That was kind of cool. I was
They
not
double
expecting
dipped.
that.
They made a fucking Duke that you can buy that works through your Xbox One,
Yeah.
which is weird. And then there's a small comment that came out of Phil Spencer around E3 where they said, the team that's working on this stuff, what's to stop them from putting it on PC? And he was like, nothing. It seems like it's probably a marketing thing, obviously. Like, we want this on our Xbox platform, but in the future where the walls are coming down and PC and Xbox are blurred a little bit, I can see this being one of those moments where Xbox taking the stance to say, hey, it's important that we preserve this stuff, leads to that greater library of games everywhere we are. I think this is one of those moments we're going to look back on and go, that was the turning point.
I think because like a lot of other games, like they were console only, then they find their way to the PC to make a port. Like it makes sense that Xbox took in that direction too. And most of their games that are Xbox One exclusive are also on Windows 10. Like you're able to play it on both. So I think it's just it's evolving.
Yeah. You remember earlier when we were talking about?
I don't know why I snapped my fingers.
Because it was dupe. Remember earlier we were talking about when Sony at E3? Well, because when it was still what was it, fucking Project Tango or something, or the Xbox
Scorpio.
No. When Xbox One, when Xbox One before it came out, it was called something. And during that E3,
Durango.
Yeah, and there was that rumor that it wouldn't play used games.
Right. Well, it was legit.
Yeah, and then Sony came up with the, hey, here's how to play used games, or here's how to play your friends' games. This is Xbox going backwards compatible. That's their used game moment.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure what Phil Spencer said was just like, "Fuck Jim Ryan," and
I remember. That was a direct quote. Yeah,
that was
I remember that.
Quote.
I kind of want to like. I would say that in the grand scheme of things, that might be the top for me.
I'm head to head with Xbox backwards compat and Switch reveal in January. Like for me, I remember the Switch reveal because I listened to 98 Rock, the morning show, and I texted them and they read it on air because the guy Justin, he plays games. I was like, dude, you fucking stoked for the Switch reveal? He's like, no, I have stubble on my cheek and I play. He was trying to like be not like funny about it, but he was like, oh, I only play manly games. Like, fuck you, man. Do you want
stubble
Switch
on your cheek? Look at this.
I know, right?
I was like, Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Shit, yeah.
I didn't know much about that series. That's all right.
Yeah.
That's
and that cheese and that, yeah. All right, so you guys want to cut rapids, right?
That's fine.
I don't know about you, but I want to cut it.
Compared to Rocket League,
I want to say, I'll cut it. I just want to say, I think it was very, very important that that game got leaked and we all went, who the fuck wants this?
It's definitely a thing nobody asked for, but we're glad it happened.
Yeah. All right, so we got Xbox backwards compatibility, Rocket League on Switch, and the Nintendo Switch reveal in January. Who is our winner?
I vote for Xbox. Just because of the potential of the future.
And
I'm gonna go
and
with
I think the statement that made. But I think Rocket League on Switch makes a really good statement too.
It does.
That was the first one. That was when we found out. Like that was when
shit's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Doom's coming.
That's my vote on a
coming.
very personal level as well.
I know, but it transcends that personal piece too. Like it's bigger than that. The same way that Xbox backwards compatibility is more than me being able to play fucking Ninja Gaiden on my Xbox One. You know what I mean? Like
why not?
Yeah, it's more than that though. It's a statement that's being made, and I think Rocket League on Switch is a statement being made where an independent developer who's now garnered some success and by no means needs to do this said, how can we make it happen? Or rather, Nintendo went to them and said, how can you make this happen for us? I think that's huge. It's a big step for Nintendo. It's a big step for...
So maybe the Switch is the root of this? Just like with the marketing?
But I think it's then backed on Rocket League, so I don't know.
Because like, if not for that, that moment would not happen.
I mean, just as a whole, like, yes, not just the announcement, but like, I know this is the moment, but like that direct at E3 as a whole was bigger than the Switch reveal for me, and I think that Karen thing was bigger than the Switch reveal itself. I think like those two things.
All right, and then Xbox.
I mean, that's kind of whatever. It's really cool that they did that. I'm not the person that usually goes backwards, so it doesn't really affect me personally.
And Ben's
Like,
still
I
playing
see-
stuff from Xbox.
And like that's it's just a really cool thing that they did, and like they doubled down on it and made like that controller again. Like
Yeah.
that's super.
Because the
That's super
thing
cool.
with like Rocket League, I feel like I could say the same for Minecraft. Like
Yeah.
like it's good, and I'm glad more games are doing this. I think that's also a step in the right direction for.
I think, as much as we talked
connectivity between
earlier yesterday about fuck Jim Ryan, I think this is the moment. I think Xbox.
I'm down.
Fine.
All right. Your favorite industry moment, 2017, Xbox backwards compatibility. Runners up, Rocket League on Switch, and the Nintendo Switch reveal in January. That is day 4 of our Game of the Year awards. Here are your winners for today. Just to recap, Best Story, Horizon Zero Dawn with runners-up Nier Automata and Resident Evil 7. Most surprising goes to Nier Automata. With runners-up Doki Doki I'm surprised at that one. I forgot. With runners-up Doki Doki Literature Club and Everything. Best marketing goes to the Nintendo Switch with runners-up Super Mario Odyssey and Resident Evil 7. Our favorite free cheese moment is using the hammer in Hitman. With runners-up the Paperboy Retro Spotlight and the Nintendo Switch event in DC. And our favorite industry moment is Xbox backwards compatibility. With runners-up Rocket League on Switch and the Nintendo Switch reveal in January. That's going to do it for us. Come back tomorrow, our final day where we reveal, oh my gosh, all of them. Here they go. Here's your tomorrow's categories. Final day, best score or soundtrack, best debut, most anticipated Hall of Fame. The hell is that all about?
You tell me.
Well, find out tomorrow. And, of course, none other than Game of the Year. Might also be a couple surprises along the way, too. Who knows? But that's it. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener, for listening. And congrats to all of our winners. We will see you later today with some video stuff. Tomorrow with Day 5, Game of the Year.